Aloha, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Oh, please forgive the sound of my voice. I've been going. It was really interesting, did some coaching calls today, and one of my clients, she's like, "You sound like you got a head cold or something." I'm like, "No, just I've been going." And she said, "Well, maybe she goes, "I'm not going to necessarily coach you, but you might want to take some downtime." And I was like, that's what this week is all about. She's like, "Well, why are you coaching me right now?" It was cute. She actually had an event that was scheduled last week, and really good lesson from my client, because she's like, I wasn't 100%, wasn't there, actually ended up canceling the event. And we had great discussion about that. Really incredible discussion around, how do you know when is when? And how hard do you push? And so I hope you guys are all doing great back in Houston. Check that out. That's an old picture of me and Kumu drumming back in the day. And then I think the new version of it is right over here. That was about 20 years ago, that picture over there. Incredible individual. Those of you who have gone to Huna, you know who I'm talking about. He's a master, true master of the Hawaiian arts, of hula, of drumming, of dancing, an incredible man. Incredible lesson. Also about what we're going to talk about today. An incredible lesson of being pono, being congruent with who you are. And aloha, Jason. So good to see you. Julia, nice. Glad that you guys are here. Being congruent with who you are. Nancy, yes, you'll be seeing me in San Jose, flying out on Tuesday. Again, there Tuesday. So what we talked about last week was ego. We talked about the ego, and we talked about the whole idea of the ego is who you think you are. Well, this week we're talking about the persona. The persona is an extension of the ego. I know some of you might not recognize me in a hoodie. You're used to me in an aloha shirt. You guys get me raw today. That's the way it goes. Sometimes I do these Facebook Lives. I've recorded videos after working out because everyone's human. Everyone is human, and yet when I show up in San Jose next week and I'm teaching, I'm going to be wearing my aloha shirt. I'm going to be, in a persona. So what does persona mean? Well, persona means, it's from Latin. It means actor's mask. It means the mask that an actor wears. And Carl Jung picked the term persona to really explain that when we go into a certain area of life, whether it's being a parent, being a teacher like I am right now, or, being in the role of a relationship like I am with Christina, in each of these different areas, we put on a mask. Now, sometimes the mask completely covers who you are, and sometimes the mask allows people to see through. That's why Carl Jung used the term actor's mask, because ideally, you recognize that you're going to wear a mask, and yet what you do is you want to make sure that that mask is a reflection of who you are. And next week, we're talking about the shadow and issues with your projections when you have a shadow issue. And one of the things that you want to realize is that what creates the shadow issues really are the fact that we put on a mask that contradicts who we are, that sometimes goes against who we are. And because of that, what happens is, well, you have issues with your projections. That's the first place to begin to look. So the persona is very, very simple. It forms in an early age when you begin to realize that you have to dress a certain way if you want to hang out with certain kids. Do you accept that or reject that? You realize that you have to act a certain way when you're around certain people, or they may not accept who you are. Do you accept that or do you reject that? Some kids reject that as they grow up, and other kids accept that. That all begins to build up what we call a persona. Persona, literally, you acting a certain way in that context, in that area. Some personas are very drastic. Some personas can be so drastic. I remember when a close friend of mine, when he lost his father, and he didn't feel comfortable opening up to many people, and he said, "Will you come to the funeral with me and hold space for me?" And I said, "Of course I will, of course." And his dad was so unbelievably serious. I mean, he was like, I didn't know what my friend was going to say about him, because it's like, it was serious, and he was, every discussion, even if it was I thought it would be funny. He would launch into it with a seriousness, and I never saw him smile. I never saw him laugh. And my friend was supposed to talk last because family. And he let friends and coworkers get up and begin to talk. And the first person got up and they started talking about, oh, he's so lighthearted. We're going to miss him at work. He always had a joke every single day, could make anybody laugh. And the next person got up and said the same thing. And the next one got up and said the same thing. And I went, holy cow, who are they talking about? And my friend actually leaned over right after I thought that and went, are they talking about my father? And, I looked around and there was his name. There's a picture of him near the casket. And it hit me. This guy had such a persona in front of me, in front of his own son, because he thought a dad was supposed to be a certain way. I don't know which one was real. I want to, in my mind, hope that that person who was jovial and fun-loving, I hope that that version was real. But you never know. You never know in these instances. And so it was such a dramatic shift between, what you saw and within that context of parenting versus what other people saw from work. I didn't understand the persona back then. I was very young. I was in my 20s. And I clearly remember that just sitting there going, wow, he would show up so differently. And then you have people like Kumue Tua right there. Those of you who have met my teacher of hula, drumming, chanting, those of you who have been to Huna, you met him. He is who he is. Christina and I went out to dinner with him before we left. And what you get at hula is what you get at dinner. No, he's not giving me directions on how to dance. And yet the person that you see, it's just incredible. He shows up as he is in every single area. Now, yeah, when he goes to judge a hula festival, he wears an aloha shirt, a hat, a bunch of chalets, looks very different than when he shows up to teach at hula practice, and yet it's the same person. He gets interviewed on TV, same person. Whatever he thinks that he wants to say or whatever he believes in his gut needs to be said, he just says it. It's so beautiful to see. So still a persona. There's still a persona there. You can see through it though. You can see through the mask and see the person. And that's ultimately the goal. So this week, as we're building up to next week, Facebook Live with the shadow, I want you to think about what areas of your life do you need to begin to let who you are shine through. Let who you are come through, because you never know. The person that you're trying to act a certain way for may actually like how you truly are. Like if you love energy work and you love weird shit like I do, let it shine through. Imagine if when someone said, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I go to spiritual trainings, I do energy work, and I do all that. If they're not meant to be a part of your path, they will go running in the other direction. They'll be like, you sound like a crazy person. And yet you might be talking to someone who is meant to be a part of your path, but wouldn't know it because they can't see you. They can't see who you are. So take a look at your personas this week, because next week we're going to build on it. We're going to talk about the shadow and have some fun with it, all right? Thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate you guys all a ton. Ahui ho.